entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey now everyone, Matt Heywood here from entertainmentbuddha.com, getting ready to do the penultimate episode of our Top X Most Impactful Scenes countdown video for Season 6 of The Walking Dead. So last night we had the penultimate episode for Season 6. It was titled East, and some heavy shit definitely went down, my friends. So, as always, spoilers inbound as we count down these scenes, and in fact, there are 4 impactful scenes from the most recent episode of The Walking Dead, again titled East. So without further ado, let's get to counting them down. So the first most impactful scene may not even be that impactful depending on how Season 6 wraps up next week in the 90-minute season finale. But at the beginning of East, Daryl takes off. He's bumming out, feeling bad that, essentially it's his fault that he didn't kill Dwight a few months before, prior to him killing Denise. So, he's like, what the fuck, I'm gonna go out and look for this guy and get payback. So as he does that, other people want to go follow him, and including in those followers is Glenn. And if you know anything about the comic books, Glenn, Negan, blah, 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 don't really want to go into it, but there's a great chance that this could have been Glenn and Maggie's last time saying goodbye to each other. So I thought the fact that they really focused on Maggie kind of longingly looking out the gates as Glenn pulls off with Michonne and the rest of the crew to go look for Daryl, definitely impactful, but like I said, may not be by the time this season completes next week, because who knows what really will happen with Negan and Glenn. The second most impactful scene features everyone's favorite Rambette. That's right, Carol. So we know she left Alexandria. Then last week we got the letter and the voiceover. She took off. So anyway, she's just heading east, getting away from here. She can't deal with the killing anymore. She knows what it takes to live in this type of world, but she just doesn't want to live that way. So that's why she leaves. So anyways, on the road, she comes across who we learn to be some saviors. They shoot out her wheels, her tires. And just as they're giving her a hard time, she's begging with them like, hey, we can do this another way, this, that, and the other thing. And lo and behold, what happens? But old Carol comes out of her shell and blasts the shit out of all these guys. She has like some sort of machine gun stashed in her jacket, wastes most of them, stabs the other guy in the head with a knife. One guy does get away, but it's just a great scene to show that Carol, while she's trying to change and doesn't want to be this killer anymore, she still has what it takes, as Rick brings up later on talking to Morgan, to get the job done. So it'll be interesting to see how Carol's thread kind of ties up for this Season 6 run moving forward. Third most impactful scene revolves around Glenn and Michonne getting ambushed. That's right, people. So they're part of the crew that went out looking for Daryl along with Rosita, and they do find him, and they try to convince him like, hey buddy, this isn't the way to go about it. Anytime we run off like this all headstrong, something bad usually happens. Dun dun dun, foreshadowing. So anyways, Glenn and Michonne, they break away. Rosita sticks with Daryl. Glenn and Michonne are ready to head back, but who shows up but this Dwight guy shows up again. That's right, the guy with the burn eye who blew out Denise's eye, that Daryl let go many months ago, way back during the first few episodes of Season 6. So anyways, those two get captured, obviously setting up the next most impactful scene, which was a doozy. But definitely their capture is huge, because it could lead to this iconic scene potentially coming during the finale involving Glenn and Negan. Final most impactful scene from East is probably the most impactful scene we have seen since the show's return. So what happened? Well, remember how Glenn and Michonne got caught in the previous most impactful scene? Guess who tries to save him? That's right, the Bushmen, Daryl and Rosita. And just when it looks like they have him, you see Glenn and Michonne going, no. They have gags in their mouth. They're shaking their head like, dude, don't. And who steps behind Daryl but Dwight? And Dwight's holding a gun at Daryl, And just when you think that, okay, maybe they're captured, what does Dwight do? But he shoots him. That's right, people. Daryl has been shot. Who knows if he's still alive? It sounds like it is, because when the screen goes black, you can hear Dwight saying, you're going to be all right, or that should be all right, something like that. But it's confirmed that Daryl has been shot. Let me repeat, Daryl has been shot by Dwight, the same guy he let go many weeks ago, the same guy that killed Denise. He's definitely a savior. Not good. What are we going to do if Daryl dies? Is he dead? Who knows? But he is shot, and his status is in limbo going into the Season 6 finale. So yes, it is an impactful scene, a huge one at that. Alright, people, this is Matt Heywood doing the top most impactful scenes countdown for the latest episode of Walking Dead for EntertainmentBuddha.com, where we make you a better geek one post at a time. Hopefully you liked what you watched or heard. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/entertainmentbuddha, and hit up the website on a daily basis so you can become a better geek one post at a time. Bye for now. Let's get ready for that season finale coming up next week.